Emerson by Lawrence. This book is about the life, career, thought, and writing of the first public intellectual in the history of the United States. This book provides the key moments of Emerson's career and major facets of his thought. The author understates the depth of Emerson's thinking and the scope of his achievement. Emerson's self-reliance, as Emerson preferred to call his theory of individuality, is indeed the single best key to his thought. If you are attracted to a kind of creative writing, given over to pondering how life should be led, if you relish virtuous display of mental energy and inspired thinking that does not try to fill in all the blanks, if you find yourself vexed by the spectacle of unused or wasted resources in yourself or others, if such things matter to you, then Emerson's writing probably will too. For Emerson, the key was to jolt individuals into realizing the untapped powers of energy, knowledge, and creativity of which all people, at least in principle, are capable. He too hated all systems of human oppression, but his central project and the basis of Emerson's legacy was to unchange individual minds. Emerson was the kind of person who wanted to live each day, think each thought, write each sentence without being bound by what he or anyone else had thought, said, done. Though Emerson has been typed as a cultural nationalist, he would never have thought to rely on America for his education. No thinker of his generation did. Indeed, throughout the century, most of the nation's major writers, far more influenced by foreign models than by one another. One of Emerson's own major contributions to the intellectual life of his day was to press his countrymen to extend the range of their acquaintance with the classics of Europe and Asian thought. Emerson resigned and journeyed to Italy, France, England to recover health and spirit. There he met and conversed with the living thinkers he most admired, Thomas Cole, Samuel Taylor, and William Wordsworth. He strengthened his French and learned basic Italian and German, using Goethe as a textbook and travel guide. He returned home a bolder and more expansive thinker. In the life of the mind, books can be more important than persons. Here is a typical passage from a lecture of the late 1850s on powers of mind. One sometimes despairs of humanity, creatures of custom, low instinct, and party names. Thought has its own proper motion and wonders if the day of original perception is gone. A thought would destroy most persons whom we knew. Bring a thought into a chamber full of company, it would extinguish most of them. They are exposed as counterfeits, as rats and mice. They have strutted a moment ago as the princes of this world. Here is my favorite sentence. Emphasis puts more emphasis on how moral values are disclosed in one's dealing with other than on a person's private meditations. An active mind was more important than a university degree. True scholars were independent thinkers, potentially including any person awakened to a state of critical thought. The images of scholar and poet sometimes merge to create. To create is the proof of a divine presence, admonishes the American scholar. What talents may be if the man create not? Emerson, self-reliance in theory and practice. In all my lectures, I have taught one doctrine, Emerson insisted, the infinitude of the private man, whether the subject be art, politics, religion. How does self-reliance make sense? Why did Emerson attach such importance to it? And why has it been so influential? For Emerson, individual freedom is always prior to social equality. The essay does not get much beyond stating that self-reliance will make you more self-reliant. A great self-reliance must work a revolution in all the offices and relations of men. The self-reliant Napoleon conquered Europe in Emerson's thumbnail assessment anyhow by instilling greater self-reliance in his soldiers. Emerson believed in principle that writing, listening, reading were key arenas for developing self-reliance, which could not be achieved by remaining at the level of conventional linear expression. Yes, self-reliance brings confidence and energy, but not necessarily comfort or joy. To sum up so far, self-reliance is an ethos or practice intended to retrieve a person from the state in which adult people usually languish, acting and thinking according to what is expected of you rather than according to what you most deeply believe. Emerson insists that self-reliance can work a revolution in all the offices and relations of man. Not for nothing did Henry James Sr. call Ralph Waldo Emerson a man without a handle. Ever since the craggy-faced former minister took to and dominated the lecture circuit in the 1830s, Emerson's readers have been trying to grasp him. Is he the granddaddy of America, laissez-faire capitalism, his doctrine of unfettered individualism, a kind of spiritual vacuum cleaner sucking everything, other people, nature, society, into its self-inflated bag? Is he a social reformer, a lonely prophet, writing prose, a proto-Nietzsche sponsor of the Superman, or just a cold New England fish? To Lawrence Buell, Emerson is all of these and more. In fact, in author view, Emerson clarifies his subject central ideas without grinding their contradictions too much. For author, Emerson is the prophet of self-reliance who claims that the individual is a stable centered in a world of flux, and at the same time the man who counsels something like passive self-denial. The author shows that on the impersonal side of Emerson's philosophy is rooted in character and circumstances. A man beset by the tuberculosis that killed his first wife and destroyed 3 of his brothers, Emerson detached himself from the stuff of the world. including, it seems, his own body. Critics and even friends like Margaret Fuller found him aloof, unfeeling, distant to alarm, especially after the death of his eldest son. Emerson converted depression into one of his finest essays, Experience. I grieve, that grief can teach me nothing, he wrote, aware that even most intense feelings can fade to naught. Emerson was inspired by Emmanuel and Frederick, Goethe, Wordsworth, and Carlyle, as well as Persian poetry, the Proverbs of the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, Confucius, and contemporary interpreters of Buddhism and Hinduism. Emerson declares, I am a fragment, and this is a fragment of me. Nothing is final, changeless, finished, or morally glib, especially not thought. Write it down, Emerson says, and it is gone. Self-reliance is the ability to do things and make decisions by yourself without needing other people to help you. People learned self-reliance because they had to. Emerson believed that nature, rather than society, institutions, or the church, is the ultimate source of truth about the self, God, and existence. To believe your own thought, to believe that what is true for you in your private heart is true for all men, that is genius. Self-reliance, such as learning to tie one's own shoe, gives children a sense of pride and accomplishment. Self-reliance is the ability to depend on yourself, to get things done and meet your own needs. An example of self-reliance is growing your own food. Self-reliance is important for children. Learning to be self-reliant is important to be taught when a child is at young age, so it can develop as they grow older. Being self-reliant is presented to be the ability to take control over your life, being motivated from within, and being able to take care of oneself. Emerson says, all people eventually learn 4 basic truths. Envy is ignorance. Imitation is suicide. All must take themselves for who they are. And though the universe of filled with good things, people must work hard to cultivate these good things instead of expecting everything to work off. How to develop self-reliance? Accepting yourself and being your own best friend. Inner confidence. Making our own decisions. Recognize and manage dependence. Accept yourself for who you are. Having your own values. Not relying on things to feel happiness. Decide who you want to be and how you want to get there. Why Emerson tells that people should trust themselves. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Emerson says that people know themselves better than they know anyone else, and that they know themselves better than anyone else knows them. Therefore, trusting oneself is a natural offshoot